Minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Talking like that. Did it look
I
good
was
before you
talking regular.
started?
I'm
Did,
getting the
did it
sun.
look
I'm
good
getting the
before you
sun. I feel
started?
good.
It's Kevin Gates talking to y'all, man.
Chill.
Kevin,
Really
I
good.
can rush to the
I have to make
Raheem.
sure.
Yeah, right
Chill.
now, Raheem.
Welcome back, everybody, to the GetBack Podcast. I'm your host, Damian Dusten, here with,
Ayden Jones, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen.
and welcome to episode 16.
Episode- Where we at?
16.
we in the
of
Bahamas?
GetBack Podcast.
Where
we
we
are
at?
not in the Bahamas. We are in an undisclosed location right
Second
now.
get back location. Y'all see,
And-
it's a little something going on. We're working on the original spot, but for right now,
under construction.
it's
and it's
under
going to look good.
construction.
And that's all I have to say. It's going to look good when
But for right now, we living right. We living right.
It's the
we living
palm
right.
trees and sunshine for episode 16.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's so fitting in a time that everybody else is in Cancun. Why don't we at least emulate that?
At least give us something like it, right?
So
That's
first,
fair.
first let's jump into it. First, we have so much to talk about. Believe it or not, in such an awkward week of ball where we don't really have much going on.
Right.
But we got the summer league and some things I want to talk to you about. Free agency, is that something that we haven't really talked about? And we got to really go a little far back.
It's been a busy week.
It
has been a busy week, I think, but weirdly, I feel like every single team, especially the bad ones, improve. Especially the bad ones.
Absolutely.
Improved. They had some good little signings this year.
But I feel like something that just needs to be brought up immediately, which I think is the most talked about offseason move, was Michael Porter Jr. getting traded to the Brooklyn Nets for Cameron Johnson. And also, I believe Brooklyn gets a first-round pick as well.
Yeah.
I think Denver wins that trade.
I think overall Denver won a lot of trades this year, or
moves.
Trades and free agency. So we'll say just overall
moves
overall.
Absolutely.
But that one is definitely their best one of this offseason. You look at, and for what MPJ has done for them, very good player. It was enough. It simply was enough.
And we're still saying this about Denver, even after the news that Jonas Valanciunas still might not play for Denver.
Might not. He is not.
Oh, so that's what you're gonna go ahead and say?
I'm gonna call it his Ayden Shams right here. He is not playing with the Denver Nuggets next year.
So you still get Bruce Brown. You still get Tim Hardaway Jr., which are two key pieces for a bench that was really non-existent for Denver last year. Do you think that this pushes them over OKC, which they took 7 games? Where does this put Denver in the Western Conference?
The fact I had a little bird in my ear the other day who told me the fact that Denver took OKC to 7 games with an injured Aaron Gordon, not I would say not a useless bench, but a very nonsensical bench,
very limited bench,
very limited. We can say that they didn't help out when it really needed.
Absolutely not. Yeah. And in a time where I think Jokic really needed it most. And I think Bruce Brown is going to be an immediate impact because
Bruce Brown was, you look at like key glue pieces of championship rise, like the Shane Battiers, any player like that.
Yeah.
Bruce Brown is a part
Bruce
of those.
Brown
players.
had one
Bruce
of those
Brown is a part of the
run,
that was a run that he put on that I don't know if they're necessarily. Yoke had a good year. I don't know how much games that they're winning without Bruce Brown, if that makes sense. Not like he's a key piece. He is a very good glue piece guy.
And, moving off from the Denver Nuggets, I think, another big move that we saw was, Kevin Durant going to the Houston Rockets, which I believe we touched on last episode.
We touched on it, but we didn't touch on basically everything that the Rockets have basically done since then.
Because that Kevin Durant trade actually is what led to the Rockets signing Clint Capella.
Yeah.
And, signing guys like Dorian Finney-Smith, which these are good pieces.
They're good pieces that I think in the long run it plays a part. I genuinely believe that now the top 3 teams next year are Houston, OKC, and the Denver Nuggets. I think that will be the main 3 that we are looking at of who can go win a championship.
Now, is that your order?
I feel like that's kind of why I put it that way. I think Houston, they're still a little young. You added some vets, a little bit more. We have to see how Kevin Durant's playing this year with all of those, I'm not going to say stars, but young, upcoming potential stars. You have Amen, however you want to pronounce it. still have Sengun, who is looking to have his breakout year. He had a somehow breakout. He's about to have his unicorn year.
So obviously, a team we've talked about the three teams in the West. One more I want to touch on briefly is the Los Angeles Lakers. They recently acquired DeAndre Ayton, which is a center that they've been needing this entire time. And there was a lot of buzz going into, the Luka Lakers coming into the playoffs as they were kind of hot before coming into it. Now them having a fortified center, big man, where does this put the Lakers in this Western Conference?
All of the Lakers fans definitely had a big sigh of kind of like their shoulders kind of dip down a little bit.
Absolutely.
When it comes to DeAndre Ayton, not necessarily saying that he's been let go because of certain things that has no control of. It's his attitude. If he can somehow get his attitude, because now you're playing with Bron, not even Bron, now you're playing with Luka, who you were actually 2 spots ahead of in your draft. You were the first round pick. Luka came out the 3rd.
Yep.
Show him that you deserve to be there. Be the big man that they need. Great lob artist that you can get the rebounds, get out the way and play defense. That's all we need.
Absolutely. We were just talking about, the big mans.
Yeah.
And another move that I want to talk about quickly is, the Randall extension to stay with the Timberwolves on a 3-year, $100 million
deserved. You want to know why?
Okay.
You want to know why? Did Ant have a good postseason too?
I believe he had good games, but I believe holistically,
did he have good games or some good games? He had some good games.
Yeah.
What are the other games? What did he put up? Like 23
on not
20
efficient
points.
Shooting, and I think that's the one thing that
9 for 20.
Yeah, his efficiency.
10 for maybe 23.
But I believe Randall too struggled against OKC as well.
Randall struggled against OKC because they almost realized that it only took one to kind of guard Ant that series. Be honest, when you had Lou or Caruso on Ant, it take 2 other people to do it. Like you had to have Caruso as double.
I mean,
except for the one game he dropped the 40. What other game did you guys? Switches aren't double teams.
Okay,
that's a switch.
Okay, so just speaking double teams, yeah, we didn't really double him that
you
much.
Didn't have
we would
to.
blitz him
you didn't
here
have
and there,
to.
but
I think Randall got not doubled, but when he got in that paint, he was a little crowded. You want to know why? Because every other series, he started to hoop. He was hooping. It was Randall. Not actually saying, honestly, which it would have never happened. They win that series. Randall's the Finals MVP or the what is it called? The Western Conference MVP. Yeah, like he gets that. I think that he did more than Ant this postseason. Yeah, I do.
Okay,
he deserves it.
You know what? I like that. I like that take. I really
do. You think that this improves or kind of helps Minnesota? Or do you think that they could have actually got something better with it?
They stay the same. I mean,
okay.
Obviously, I know people say the chemistry.
Nas Reed signs back.
Where does this leave Rudy Gobert?
Rudy Gobert kind of always stays in the same spot. I don't think that any team.
No, and I say that because you're paying Nas Reed starter money.
Yeah.
So, is he going to be a starter?
I think
that's why I viewed this Randall signing as interesting. I was like, okay, the guy who just got there is getting the extension.
I really feel like they're gonna try to just let him be their 6th man, be that energy off the bench. That's a lot of money. The cap is different now. Who they had to pay what three people this year? You just lost Nickel, which I want to get into the Hawks too because they're getting some help for trade. But you just let Nickel know that it's over with. Now he's gone. It's a lot less you had to give off because guess how much Nickel just made? Money, $62 million.
Obviously, we touched on the Western Conference, so we're gonna slide over to the East, and I think the East also made some pretty nice moves too. And we'll start with what you said,
right?
And then I want to start with a bombshell right after that. Yeah, the Atlanta Hawks. Let's talk about it.
Do you think, or how do you feel about the help? Because I don't even say that you think. I know that they got him help. How much help they got him? Does this actually push them now from that 500 range that they're in every single year?
I think this team might miss the play-in and be in the playoffs.
I'm about to say, don't you do that.
They're going to miss I think they're going to miss the play-in, and I think they're just going to outright make the playoffs. They could definitely be a 6th seed.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this because the East is very fractured right now.
The East is fractured.
I think, I said this on a lot of podcasts. I always say the East to me is like it's going through a depression right now. If that's what I said prior to these injuries, I mean, this is the worst case scenario for the East. You're talking about these are 2-year injuries. The Achilles. I mean, you're possibly going to see a Western Conference champion for the next 5 years.
But we did recently just get one though with Boston, so we still are in the conversation. But I feel what you're saying this year.
But yeah,
because
to
honestly,
your point, I think the Hawks make playoffs.
The top 4 teams that a lot of people are talking about this year that had the potential with all the injuries: New York Knicks, Cavs, Milwaukee, Sixers. Who's the imposter there?
76ers.
76ers. Are they going to be that team?
Are they going to have a bounce back season? I think
VJ just dropped 28 last night with a double.
I think I'll say this. I think the 76ers had a nightmare season. I don't know where Joel is right now with his injury. I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
I think and this is always the question, and I'm going to sound like a broken record, if they can stay healthy, they can be a playoff team. They have the talent for it.
I'm not going to fall for this anymore.
And you know
I'm
what?
not going to fall for this anymore.
Not because of Paul George, because of Jared McCain and Tyrese Maxey.
I love to hear it. Guess what? We said the same thing for the LA Clippers for 5 to 6 years straight. You want to know why? Because of one player, Paul George. We're not going to let him go to another team and we start this whole thing over again. I'm not going to let it happen. Stop that. They're not going to be good. They're going to be the imposter team. They're still going to somehow, with all the injuries, somehow fall down to 8. Detroit Pistons are still here. You don't think Detroit's going to still be in that conversation?
Absolutely. Detroit's going to be a top. You know what? That's my hot take. Detroit's going to be the number 1 seed in the.
That's crazy because you want to know who beats them?
Who?
Orlando Magic.
No.
Yes, they do.
I think Detroit's ready.
Yes, they do.
Orlando
Magic does beat. Yeah, you're crazy. You're
crazy. Hold on. I like the Duncan Robinson move. They get 3-point shooting. I like
Duncan,
that.
You lost Timmy.
You lost Timmy, but you were going to lose him anyway. He wasn't.
That's fair. You got to figure out what Malik's doing. What if Malik gets confiscated for
the betting? You know what? Another bombshell move that I wanted to talk about immediately.
Yeah.
And was very important was the Milwaukee Bucks have waived all-star guard Damian Lillard as a salary cap room clearer to acquire free agent center Miles Turner from the Indiana Pacers. First of all, I want your makes on the Miles Turner, getting Miles Turner first, and then I'll ask you about Dame. What do you think about that?
I think the Pacers screwed up. Because honestly, you gave me a different perspective of saying that he deserved to kind of go to a team that can fight for something.
Oh, what I said last.
You did.
Okay,
You got to me a little bit.
What I said was, Miles Turner has been there for 10 years, I believe.
10 years.
And that was his first ever deep playoff run. That was his first time in the finals.
Well,
and I think
last year they had a little something too, but these are his first actual real.
These were his
first
two.
Ball.
Yeah, he played his heart out. He didn't have the greatest finals performance, and I think really the injury to Halliburton and just the fashion of which everything happened, it almost just seemed as if OKC was destined from the start. He deserved a change of scenery.
I feel what you're saying. The only thing that hurts is that in reality, it was only $3 million more from what the Pacers offered him per year.
Yeah,
Pacers couldn't just give it that much more because I know he asked for it. I know he went in there and asked for that exact number.
Yeah,
and most likely the Milwaukee Bucks said yes. Honestly, he played really good in the playoffs. His finals wasn't that impressive. It really was not that impressive.
It wasn't.
He deserves it though, I guess. It hurts.
Do you think that is this an equalizer for losing Dame, or did Milwaukee get better or worse? Like, where does you stand on this move? Because in my opinion,
I think this is very neutral. This is very neutral. You
want
to know what?
That, yeah.
I think Giannis thinks the same thing too. Giannis. I think the way that Dame reacted, because Dame kind of also changed my perspective on his terms of him leaving and getting waived. I think the thing with Giannis, what's up?
Because you know what I think Giannis is probably thinking right now? He's like, you guys want me to be more of a perimeter player now?
Yeah, not even that. I think that he just doesn't like. They're not even asking him to be on the perimeter.
Miles
I think
Turner
that
is much more of an interior presence than Brook Lopez ever was. So it's kind of like
that. No, I think that's my only thing.
And I'm saying now because of the age.
I think you lose points almost a little bit when you go with Miles Turner. I'm being for. I think Brook Lopez, when he gets hot, and I know it's possibly this past year where it was a little off. When Brook Lopez got hot, he got hot. He had some good games for Milwaukee Bucks.
I agree with that. I agree. I just think Yeah, I just think really it's a great neutralizer.
Yeah, it is.
And it's interesting, but does it keep Giannis there? We'll have to wait and see, because I heard
We'll
that
wait.
decision wasn't going to
Yeah.
happen until August, September.
Yeah.
So we'll wait on that. I want to talk about an extension now. Real quick, in the Eastern Conference, when I read this, I thought it was a typo, and I actually texted you about it. The Toronto Raptors have agreed to terms on let me make sure I'm reading that right. Yeah. 4-year, $104 million extension with Jakob Poeltl. And the defensive-minded big man stays in Toronto. And I'm just as confused as you are, as the Toronto Raptors starting 5 is now in the top 10 highest paid lineups in the NBA right now, starting.
I saw a post. I forgot what his name is. Very, very big content creator who actually he's made a name for himself. Where he's been on First Take. He does what our podcast. He does what we do. He put out a post talking about the Raptors starting 5. RJ Barrett, Quickly, which I don't even know if he even starts every single game.
I think Quickly held people hostage in that Toronto headquarters.
Quickly's making about, what is he, 44 million?
It's absurd.
RJ's making a lot of money.
But
now you just paid him?
Where's Toronto? And you know what? Because I just said this, and we didn't mention them in prior talks. In the fractured Eastern Conference that it is,
where does
Toronto be?
Don't ship me. But you want to put them in the play-in now? What?
Hold on. With that starting 5, I think it's still a good. They don't deserve that money. That is a play-in team, absolutely.
It's a play-in team that goes where? That goes where?
And that's the problem with paying them that much money. I just really don't see them doing that much. But you know what? It's an interesting move. Maybe they see these guys having crazy potential in the next 2-3 years. We'll have to wait and see.
Yes, you can see, but I don't know. I don't even like it, the way that they're paying them. I don't know if I want to get into it. A team that I do want to get into. I don't know if to me, honestly, team that's possibly won everything with maybe because their draft sneakily to me was good. Free agency signings were good, and their trades have been pretty decent for me. Charlotte Hornets. Charlotte Hornets
have made some interesting moves.
Simply cooked. Trey Mann, I still don't understand. Is Trey Mann now on the Brooklyn Nets, or is he on the Charlotte Hornets?
I believe he stays in Charlotte.
That's okay. So if he does, I mean,
beautiful.
You get Pat from the Bucks. Pat on him. Spencer Dinwiddie, obviously you got him. Mason Plumlee, Colin Sexton, the young dog. Obviously kept LaMelo, kept Miles. Very beautiful draft. I think their draft was not that bad. You got some good little shooters who can play defense and move their feet. Their team could be nice.
Yeah, and to confirm, Trey Mann does, in fact, stay with the Charlotte Hornets. So I think that's really big.
I think they gave him a 3-year, did they not?
Yeah, it is a 3-year.
3-year, 24? 25?
Absolutely.
Yeah, 24, yep.
And, another move I want to talk about, so many moves before we got to, get into some other stuff.
I'm telling you, it's been a busy week.
It's been a busy week.
I was Shams for a little bit on some calls, and he was Shams while I'm working, and he's calling me or giving me texts of what's happening.
And and I think it's actually really important for a team that actually might have finals aspirations next year.
Talk to me.
The Dallas Mavericks are signing veteran guard D'Angelo Russell to a 2-year, $13 million deal. We know why they did this with Kyrie out for what we
and
are
Kyrie signed a 3-year extension too.
Yeah, what we're assuming is going to be a large portion of the season.
Yep.
To have a guy who has experience playing starting point guard and playing successfully starting point guard. Fly just flew on me, my guy.
That's all right, buddy. Outside. You gotta enjoy the nature.
We gotta enjoy.
Enjoy the nature.
But I think it's a big move, and I think it's a move that could actually keep them afloat in the West.
Keep them neutral,
and especially this is all predicated on Cooper Flag, though. If Coop is what we think Coop is going to be, then this is a great move, and I think it's a home run for both parties, really. And I just wanted to know where you think the Mavs are, because I know you gave me your top 3 in the East, the West.
Honestly, the Mavs I feel could honestly be a top 6 team. You added, I think Coop honestly to me is still the biggest thing to me. Like he will surpass, I think, so much people's expectations. It will honestly give them potential to possibly be a top 5 team. Yeah. And I mean that seriously. Their starting lineup is still good. You know Kyrie's out. You add D'Angelo, which say all you want about D'Angelo. When D'Angelo can catch fire and actually stay true to himself, get comfortable with the team, he already knows obviously a lot of people on that team. Now you can actually somewhat cook. Like now you can let him cook.
Absolutely. And man, I hate to do this to you. One last move. And like I said, and I think this is really big too for the East. The Knicks acquire former sixth man of the year, Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah.
They needed a bench. They got Mike Brown. They got their coach now. And now they're starting to build a formidable bench to an already good starting five. Can the Knicks get over that hump and go to the NBA Finals? Because they made it to the conference finals already.
The Knicks will, if not the third, will be the second team in the East next year. Okay. Easily. You add a bench. Their draft, I won't say it was impressive to me, but
it's okay.
I think their coaching, like now, because you have Mike Brown, he is a good coach. I don't know if you remember how surprised we were when Sacramento let him go. That's a good coach. He knows how to bring the superstar out of his players. I do think that he will help Cat in his foul troubling. He has to. And Mitchell Robinson will be on that the foul free throw line 1,000 times per day too. So he gonna get them boys right. I like it.
Now, you're gonna have to get those boys right because obviously, preseason's already starting to roll around, and preseason is also starting to roll around for the NFL season.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to glance on a couple things with the NFL because, obviously we're still in that transitional phase. But we got some things that I really would like to discuss in the NFL with you. First of all, when we look at the past couple Super Bowl champions, and them having outstanding four-man rushes and having a good defensive line, what four teams in the NFL do you think have the best defense going in to this season? And I say that because defense has been so important.
I'm going to give you one. I'm still going to have to put Philadelphia Eagles defense. Even though they lost some people, Philadelphia will still be a top 4 defense in the league.
Do you believe that's because of Fangio and because they did add a couple pieces?
They added some pieces, but I think that they also just didn't let go so much. I think that Darius, like, you lose him,
and you lose
that doesn't hurt that much.
Vaughn, that hurt.
That's the one that possibly hurts.
Yeah.
Another team, I'll give you your strength. The Broncos will most likely have a top 4.
I just wanted to give them that bit. That's the only reason why. In the nature, I just want to hear him talk about the Broncos, man. In this nature.
Now, what if they don't have a top 4 defense? Like, what if somebody falls off?
I believe they do. I think, and an injury, obviously, not gonna fake wood, but I mean, we're gonna have to see. But yeah, I like those two so far. All right, okay. So you have the Broncos and Eagles. Who else you got?
Best defense.
Do we say?
I don't. Who are you thinking?
Do we say that Miami's defense got better?
No, Miami's defense. You trade away Jalen Ramsey for Minka. That's why they're top 4.
Minka's better.
Minka's washed. They specifically said they specifically said that he's washed this past year.
How about the Ravens?
The Ravens can be in there. I would. Do you think that Detroit could possibly have one too? Detroit could be up there.
I just think the secondary is really.
Aiden's back. Aiden's back, and he looked.
If
he looked fast.
Good, I think
he looked fast.
That really helps. I really want to see the secondary. The secondary to me is still a little suspect at times.
That's fair.
And but their defense was still so. I won't say great. They were so good.
Right.
With all those injuries towards the back end of the season, and I think they really got hurt by those injuries because they could have definitely been a Super Bowl team, Super Bowl champions, possibly.
Okay. One team I was not going to say, Buffalo Bills. I think the Buffalo Bills are not a top 4 defense, even though a lot of people think that they are. They're not a top 4 defense.
They're not a top 4
defense. They're not.
And for the last team, I would actually say, believe it or not, I think that the Vikings could have.
A decent run, but they also let go of some pieces too. They let go one good safety. I know that he went to
Bynum. They did let go of Bynum, which I think
he was their best dancer and best interception catcher. That hurts. I'll say my question.
Something that we.
Oh, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Yeah, I feel like we needed to talk about it first. Was the trade? And Minkah Fitzpatrick going to the Miami Dolphins for Jalen Ramsey.
Be honest, because
a trade that ends up actually getting the Steelers, Jonnu Smith as well.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on that trade when you saw it?
My thoughts are, I was about to ask you a thought. Who do you think actually won that trade? Because I don't think that.
So, you know what? I don't know if Jonnu was directly included.
Right.
If this wasn't a different trade, if there was some, we'll throw in Jonnu in a different one, then the Steelers, I think still, even though I think Minkah Fitzpatrick is a better player, I think Miami got the best player. I think to get Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith, to get another tight end who I think is a vertical threat.
You think that Minkah overall is a better player
than Jalen Ramsey? Right now.
No.
Right now.
No.
Right now, yeah. Jalen has had too many, like his injuries that he's battled with. He's not as fast. He's still a good corner. He is still a very good corner. Don't get me wrong. But he is not at that. We used to talk about Jalen Ramsey like top two, top three.
Jags, Jalen Ramsey. Prime Jalen Ramsey.
Even Jayon on the Rams was so tough.
Okay. He was decent. He had a good team.
He was
on a
tough
very
on the
good
Rams.
defense. On a very good defense.
Absolutely.
On a very good defense.
Eric Weddle, Von Miller. They had dogs.
Believe me, nobody talked about it
dogs.
until they won. But that defense was stacked. Yes.
Yeah, for sure. But, obviously, a couple of ago, we talked about some of the best games, and we were talking about what teams we're watching, who's going to be our risers and droppers and whatnot. But I want to steer away from questions like that. I want to ask you, going into this league, who are your top 5 players that you want to see step up in this season? Who are your top 5?
I asked you something like this last week. One person I am kind of looking out for, the cornerback from the Patriots, Gonzalez. If he can have a breakout year with the Patriots' upcoming defense, boy, oh boy, it will be lights out because their defense is stacked. Offense is stacked, which I think they can be an upcoming team. If Gonzalez, because he's already good.
Yeah,
he's just one of my best.
What really hurt the Patriots last year was Gerard Mayo. I think I don't think he was ready for that job, to be honest.
Not necessarily. I don't think he was ready. I don't think that I think that team was just a different team that what he needs. I don't know if that's the team.
But I think that last year the Patriots could have been what the Broncos were. If that makes sense, but the Broncos beat them to it.
I think the
Patriots.
I hate to disagree. I think that this is actually the reverse. I think that they're going to be what you guys were last year. Actually,
no, but that's what I'm saying.
Oh, my bad.
I think the Patriots this year are going to be what the Broncos were last year.
Okay.
If that, like 10-7, maybe they might win 9 games. I don't know.
I would say 9 to 10. I don't want to overhype it up, and then like Drake is just with a good team ends up like Caleb Williams.
But you're looking at Christian Gonzalez to have that breakout season.
Yes.
Who's your second player?
Ends up like Caleb Williams.
Caleb
Williams, I swear to my for God,
is your second player.
If you do not somehow have a year with the team that has been stacked around you, you have a great coach who is ready.
He doesn't, and you know what's crazy? The crazy expectations that are on him. If he doesn't make Pro Bowl this year, he's going to be starting to look at like, what are you going to be? What's your ceiling? Because I'm sorry, Ben Johnson, the weapons that they've gotten,
the O-line,
you have no excuse.
You got a running back.
I will say this: when I say no excuse, am I saying
no
12, 14 games?
No, just at least how many did they win last year? 6?
I don't know.
Bad. That's all we know. If just give me a decent, you can give me a decent good season.
Get you 8 to 10.
They need. I need them. Like everybody, I feel like I'm saying right now. I want them to lead their team to a 9 to 10 season. Is that bad to say?
I don't know if it's bad to say.
Their offense was already very good last year to me.
It was okay.
Their offense was pretty good to me. You added a very good wide receiver. Yes.
Their offensive line was atrocious.
Offensive line, that's what they worked on this year. Their wide receivers were pretty good.
Yeah.
Still had really good
receivers.
Allen. Keenan Allen. You still had drafted the wide receiver last year who had a decent he had a decent season.
That is very true.
This season, you added Luther Burton, added an O-line. You can get spooky. You can get spooky this year. Another person. Because I feel like it's a lot of quarterbacks right here. Jaden McDaniels. He's going to have a breakout. No.
Jaden McDaniels?
Jaden Daniels. Jaden.
No, Jaden didn't. No, it's
I said
Daniels.
Jaden who? Who did I just
No,
say?
hold on.
Did I just say the Minnesota Timberwolves?
No,
Jaden McDaniels?
No, I understood who you were trying to say. Even if my thing is a man who already took his team to the conference championship game.
He did that in his
Rookie
year? Rookie year?
So what do you expect now? Super Bowl?
I don't know about a Super Bowl, but he can get far. Last year when we were talking about him in that game, what did we say?
Lord.
What did we say?
Says the man who last episode
did he
said
not beat
team
Detroit
wasn't
last
gonna-
year?
You said they weren't even going to win in their division, in their conference.
Dog. Did they not beat Detroit last year? Yes or no?
I feel you. That's not the point.
Did they win because of who? Did they win because of Jaden or
So
just because of like the defense?
Because of the whole team in general. He played a big
He
part.
played a very
But for
big
you
part.
to sit here and say, yeah, what?
Really?
How do you expect? I don't.
So
think
you
he's
just think
done.
that it's gonna stay neutral? He's not gonna have any improvement from his
He's-
rookie year.
You know what? Yeah. You know what?
with
That's fair to say.
with Debo getting added on,
They say he not that good. I don't know.
Debo's
don't
not
know.
doing anything.
I don't know if he's gonna do much.
Debo looking a little skinny.
How long?
Debo looks skinny.
Let's chill. We'll see how Debo works. You know what? You're right.
No, I
If
feel like
we-
you're still
no,
disagreeing.
If you like numbers wise, him having more touchdowns and stuff, yes, you're right. But I think like the team, yeah, you're right. I'm predicating too much team ball into this. You're absolutely right. Because I just don't think that they're gonna make it to the conference championship again. I actually think they'll lose in the
But
division.
is that an improvement with him, or like you still don't think that he can have a better
I think
year
he'll have
than
a better
than-
year, but I think
That-
that they don't
okay,
make
well,
it as
wait.
far. But I don't think they made it as
That
far.
was the question, though. Was it not?
No, it's just who has a breakout season like. Who needs to have a breakout season for real? I thought your first two were great. And then you said some Jaden Daniels, and I was like, he had a breakout season his rookie
I don't feel
season.
like that's a bad pick.
I feel you. I think he just needs to keep it up. If that makes sense.
You're still
When I look at-
disagreeing. This man's still
I'm not.
disagreeing.
All right, who's the other player?
Who's my next player? Let me think. No way. Nah.
I'm
No
just
way.
kidding.
He's gonna get I think he's actually gonna be out the league in the next 2 years.
You
He's over with.
you
Yeah.
think Tua Tagovailoa is going to be out of the league in the next 2 years? That's ridiculous.
That's not crazy.
If he has another concussion, maybe.
I'll probably say my next one, Bucky Irving.
Bucky Irving.
Irving.
I like that.
Whoa. What is that?
Yeah, I don't know what that was. But
Bucky Irving.
Bucky Irving, yeah.
After having, I would say, a pretty impactful, decent rookie year,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, I
No?
think so. I think if he can just be that 1,000-yard rusher for them, and I think already because Mike's starting to get a little older.
Mike's older, but you still have good wide receivers around.
Absolutely.
So
You saw
good wide
Chris
receivers.
Godwin, who I
Yeah.
think is actually
Ibu-
going to come back
Ibuka.
good from that injury.
Yeah, some
And
good
Ibuka-
pieces.
yes, absolutely. And you know what I think that them drafting Ibuka was?
Yeah. Right.
That was Mike's getting older, and I think it's time that we get another guy that maybe that Mike can bring up. You know,
I don't know. I feel like Mike could. How old is Mike?
Mike's
30.
I don't know.
33.
I have no idea.
Because you want to know what? My question: Who's your GOAT wide receiver of all time?
Probably Jerry Rice. You have to
Is
say
it
Jerry Rice.
Is it Jerry
like
Rice?
Jesus.
Is it Jerry Rice because of his numbers, or
numbers?
because of how long he did it?
It's not both. A little bit of both. The
Because
numbers
of
are
how
crazy.
long he.
Absolutely.
Jerry Rice over the age of 37 got 5 more over 800-yard
Yeah.
seasons. Like that's why he's probably my
Yeah.
GOAT.
But
Mike could do something where he hit at least 37 and still get numbers.
Yeah, but back to your point.
numbers.
I like Bucky Irving. I like that
But
pick. That's a really good
Booker's
pick.
over 9 pick.
And I think he's a Pro Bowler next season. In my opinion, yeah.
Do you think that he can? He gets 1K. I feel like
Yeah.
1K is not that hard anymore. It's really
It's
not. It's
not.
really not that hard
It's
anymore.
not, but I think he does it. Yeah, I think he gets. Actually, you know what? Hot take: Bucky Irving rushes for 1,500 yards.
Say it one more time.
Bucky Irving rushes for 1,500.
1.5.
He runs for 1.5K.
I can see 1.3. 1.5 seems a little bit like now you're talking like, oh snap, he's in a top 5 of running backs in the league. I think that he can just surpass actually come from being a good rookie to now being a decent, great running back in the league. I feel like
Yeah.
my fifth final pick, Lad McConkey from the LA Chargers.
Ladd McConkey, I like that. Okay, talk to me.
I mean, yeah, for as much fanage as he already has,
and had some drops in that playoff game.
He had some drops, but this whole past year, he was Herbert's kind of right hand man for a little bit of the time. Honestly,
of course,
I think a lot of the times when he went out on that play, he was looking for one man because he knows how to get open. He gets open a little bit like Cooper Kupp, or I don't know, saying it because of the skin, but he just gets open on some very easy routes that turns into very big plays that he makes a name for himself. Even a Puka, like he plays good. He plays like a good wide receiver.
Yeah, prayers up to Puka Nacua. Also,
prayers up to Puka for what? What's up? Prayers up for Puka for what?
Nothing.
Are we talking about two different things?
Nothing. If you know, you know. You know, but
okay.
On to the UFC. That was a beautiful transition right there. You know, obviously last episode we touched on the Ilia Topuria 317 card, but we got some upcoming cards I want to talk about to you real quick.
Can I break down?
You know what? You go ahead. You take that floor.
Let me break down. Do you even want to get into the fight? I feel like it's only one fight that I really would want to even talk about.
What's the first one you want to talk about?
Derek Lewis. Do you think that Derek Lewis can get a dub this upcoming week?
I believe he can do it against Sexatera.
And when he does, is he pulling down the pants and letting him breathe a little bit?
And know that his balls is hot.
Is he gonna? I'm a little hot.
I'm a little hot right now.
He can let him breathe.
But you know, I think he has what it takes.
Yeah.
I've been seeing his training camp. He looked good.
He looks a little bit more in fit because you want to know what?
Yeah.
That one time, I think it was 2 fights ago. He had a six pack.
And
he had a 6-pack.
Yeah.
And no homo, he looked very paused. He looked in shape. He looked good.
He looked good.
Past that, UFC 318. Can we talk? Because I feel like this man was trashing on 318.
I wasn't trashing. I was just
40
comparing.
minutes ago. He was trashing on 318. So let's break it down. But I feel like there's a little bit more fights. Do you think that Dusten versus Max is not going to be a straight killer bang out for Dusten's retirement?
I think it's gonna be awesome.
Max is BMF. Like, come on.
I think it's going to be a great fight, and it's obviously, in my opinion, it's a pick'em fight. I really do think it's a pick'em fight. I don't know who's going to win because Dusten, I think, has so much more juice.
He does, and you want to know what? Dusten said something funny on his show. I don't know whose show. His
interview. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
He's juicing up right after, right when he retires. He's juicing.
He said he's juicing up.
He's pulling the.
I respect that.
Why not?
Yeah,
honestly, seeing how a lot of UFC fighters come out after, I actually do expect it.
But you know, that fight has. I actually think Max has so much to lose.
Yeah.
If he loses this fight, I think it really hurts his chances at a lot of things. And for him to take this fight is honorable, but also questionable in the sense that you beat Dusten, he retires, now what? But also you lose this fight, you just lost to Dusten, now what?
Yeah.
He's put himself in a very stuck situation, and I think while it's an awesome fight, it's an awesome fight that sacrifices him and what's next for him. So we're going to have to see. Dana might get creative. You never know. Co-main, Danny Ige versus Patricio Pitbull. Patricio coming off a loss, getting a co-main against Danny Ige.
He's coming off a loss, but you want to know why he's getting a co-main? They know his potential. I felt like a dummy a little bit because I was with my dogs on his debut, and I was talking him up like I know a lot of other UFC fans were that night.
Yeah.
And he just somehow let us
Shit
down.
the bed.
He let us down, which really, like we talked about, only person I've seen who has really, which I know we're going to talk about a little bit later, Venom Page is the only person I've really seen who has actually had a very good debut in the recent years because everybody else been getting their ass whooped. Every single other person.
You know, one more fight I wanted to talk about. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
What's up?
So when we dive into that fight, who do you see winning?
I'm gonna say hopefully Pitbull can actually get something going, but Ige, I just think he's a little bit too technical. I think Ige's a little bit too sharp and on his tool a little bit right now.
Yeah, because I think Ige, his boxing is so good.
I think too sharp.
Something about Patricio was his striking, but I think he's just so much
more. It's his
more
power in his striking. It's not his striking. It's his power in his striking.
So,
that's all.
and I think I just gonna piece him up, and I think this is a 5-rounder. I'm assuming.
Next one, I'm a little bit excited for. I think just to see him actually kind of return. Paulo Costa's fighting on this card.
Paulo Costa versus Roman Kopylov. Yeah.
Do you think?
I think that's a very good fight.
It's a good fight, but Paulo's fighting a young star.
And I think there's. I haven't seen Paulo in a long time.
We haven't seen him in a long time, but he
So-
always stays in that same shape.
But
Always.
does it matter? Because he's lost. His
He's
last couple
lost,
times
but
we've seen him, he's lost.
Who did he fight last time? I was like, this kind of fighter. I think he has potential to
you're
win
right.
this one.
You're right. But
He
I
has
think,
potential to win
I
this
think
one.
Roman Kapilov, his kickboxing is so much more improved since his first fight into the UFC. I think he really can surprise a lot of people on the feet. And, he's obviously not a liability on the ground. So, we're going to have to wait and see. We're going to have to see. You know what? I'll be able to tell you first minute around what Paulo's about to get you. Because it's either he looks slow and worn down.
He ain't been here in a long time. You got to give him some time, right? You can't give him a little bit of time? Not even like the first round?
No.
Damn, okay. I mean, it's only 3 rounds. So
you know what? We raced on 318 a little bit. I want to move on to a fight night, which is going to be free for everybody to watch. And you should definitely tune in.
And it's in Abu Dhabi.
It's in
Come on.
It's going to be a good time. It's going to be like 4 o'clock. Come on, it's Sunday. Robert Whittaker against his Renier de Ridder. A fight that I had no idea was coming, and I've said this before on earlier podcasts. And we've talked about this fight. I said Rob's going to win, knock him out, so we ain't got to race on it too much. Have your thoughts changed on this fight?
My thoughts haven't changed on that. I think De Ridder can actually give him a time for his time, a time for his money, basically. I'll say.
Now the co-main's a little interesting. It's going to be the number 1 contender, Mozart Igalov versus Aaron Pico.
Who they don't even have a picture for, actually. They don't even have a picture for, basically, for him. But
Aaron Pico's a dog.
He's a dog.
But there's no picture for him.
I don't know about this one,
I think
I don't know.
most bars just going to
You look at the fight that's before that. Do you think that could have possibly took place on that with the Peter Yan fight?
No, I don't think Marcus McGee is.
It's Peter Yan. That's all.
I know.
It's just Peter Yan. On
In
a
Abu
fight
Dhabi, I
night?
get it. No,
You think that Peter Yan is not even a co-main on a fight night anymore?
Against the number 1 contender in the featherweight division, who's probably going to get guaranteed a title shot after he wins this fight. Yeah, no.
I don't know. I think it's just the
Abu
person
Dhabi,
he's fighting.
they care about the belts, man.
They do.
And they care about making fights that are for the belts.
They do. That's
you
fair.
respect them for it too. You
That's
know.
fair.
But you brought him up. Piotr Yan is fighting in the bantamweight division against Marcus McGee, who's 10-1.
Yes, sir.
Who do you see winning that fight? Let's say it in 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Piotr Yan.
Yan is going to take care of business. I mean, straight business on this one. It's going to be over. And I think it'll actually go down to the ground, actually, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, last fight I just want to touch on briefly, and I mean very briefly, like
Yes, sir.
maybe 15 seconds. Dana White sends Bryce Mitchell as a lamb to get slaughtered by Said Nurmagomedov.
It's not a lamb because he's cutting weight, and I actually want to see what he can do on this. I said it last week. Bryce Mitchell and Emmett the big dog had the best fights against Elias Euphoria. Bryce Mitchell cutting weight and going down a weight class. We're gonna see. Yes, he could get slaughtered like usual, but it can be a different outcome for some very surprising, weird reason. And then he's gonna talk about the Bible after too, so you know how that's gonna go.
We touched on 319 episode ago about Drake and Juice Bautista against Khamzat Chimaev, but the co-main event. Oh my God, I can't speak.
The co-main event. I told you, Michael Venom Page versus go ahead. This is gonna be a banger. We're gonna see what Kenny can actually bring to the fight. Venom Page is going to simply brutally abuse this man. I hate to tell you, Venom Page is going to.
And this is why I disagree with Ayden Jones.
Here we go.
I think it's going to be a closer fight than everybody thinks. I think Jared Cannonier's a smarter fighter than Ayden's giving him credit for.
We can bet on that. No, I know he's smart.
I think Michael Venom Page ends up winning. I think he can either possibly knock him out, or it'll be a very grueling decision. It'll be one of those it wasn't a good fight, but yeah, Mike won. Just give it to him. It's gonna be like that. And for Jared to win,
basically what you're saying.
Yeah. And for Jared to win, I think he's gonna have to utilize. He's good at everything. He's good at everything. He's not great at one thing, so he's gonna have to try to utilize a little bit of everything. I think he can. I think he's strong physically. He's stronger.
Yeah.
Than Mike, even though Mike is stronger than what he gives out. Give me Mike. Oh, fuck. Give me Mike by knockout.
Okay. And I want to say this is the last one we will talk about, because you want to know what? I'm sweating bullets. I'm sweating bullets right here.
Too. But you know what?
The last one I want to talk about, and I think it's just because I'm a little bit surprised. Johnny Walker is the main event of a fight night over Aljamain Sterling versus Ortega. And
Dana owed somebody a favor or something. You know, for a Brian Ortega, Aljamain Sterling, that's a featherweight fight. That is an awesome fight.
That is an awesome fight that's going to go. Because you want to know what? Ortega still got in the tank.
That
We know
could have
Aljamain
been-
does.
That could have been like the second. That could have been a co-main on a number card.
Yeah.
Co-main.
No, on a number card. So let's go on. Let me look at 319. No, I would actually still put that behind the Page and Canera fight. Yeah.
318.
Let me go to 318. Yeah.
I would rather see Brian Ortega and Aljamain Sterling than Danny and Patricio Pitbull.
I do agree with that. Yes.
So there you go.
I do
think
agree
it
with
should
that.
be. It could
I
be
do
a
agree with
co-main
that.
on a number card. I
It's
like
not
that we
bad.
got that out
It's
the
not
way.
bad.
And I think it's ridiculous. Do you not? I think more so than the fight
it's a little
itself,
crazy.
which is a great fight.
It's a little crazy. Yes, I do agree.
So obviously, what do you make of that fight? That is a big fight in the featherweight division. Who do you have winning that fight?
If Ortega still really has what he showed us maybe in the past like 2-3 years and can really actually show he has volume. He's fast. Like he knows how to kind of strike a little bit where he moves around the octagon. He knows
Great
how to put
submission
pressure.
offense.
Great submission. Like if he shows us that he's still that, I'll take him.
I think Aljo's so strong.
I think Aljo will manhandle Ortega a little bit. I think so. I think Aljo training with Merab so much
and him being a
improves
featherweight now, not having to drop all that weight.
It's
He's going to be physically stronger than Brian
Oh,
Ortega.
the breeze.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And it's
Oh,
going to be
man.
interesting to see. It's also the film, I guess.
I don't think it's the fan. I ain't the fan the whole time. It's the breeze, man.
But you know, been some great moves in the UFC. Good fights coming up. You know, we're gonna tap into free agency a little bit next episode. Tap more into the NFL. But I think it's been a
I'm sweating bullets,
episode.
y'all. Welcome back to the Get Back Podcast.
I'm your
This is
host,
the end of the
Damian
episode.
Dusten
Ayden Jones. Thank you so much for watching with the Get Back. Thank you.
Peace out.